There has been a serious confrontation between British and Russian forces in the Black Sea. It involved at least 20 aircraft and 2 Russian Coast Guard boats, which at times were just 100 meters or 328 feet away from a British warship. Here's what you need to know. The British warship HMS Defender has been involved in a confrontation with Russian forces within the 12-mile or 19-kilometer limit of Crimea's territorial waters, according to the BBC. Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 in a move other nations considered illegitimate. BBC footage shows Russian jets swooping down alongside the British vessel and contains the sounds of gunshots in the distance, but details outside of these are contested. The UK Ministry of Defence's position is that the HMS Defender was traveling through an internationally recognized transit route, and Russian vessels shadowed it in a routine manner, according to the BBC. It says any shots fired were part of a Russian gunnery exercise nearby. Russia, on the other hand, says it fired warning shots and dropped bombs to force the British Royal Navy destroyer to change routes, accusing the ship of violating its borders, according to Al Jazeera. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea allows for what it describes as innocent passage through a state's territorial sea, and according to the BBC, Britain's case is that its vessel was merely taking the most direct route between its starting point in Odessa, Ukraine, and its destination in Georgia. Russia contests this, with its UK embassy tweeting that the HMS Defender's passage was a deliberate provocation rather than a legitimate routine transit. In January this year, it reacted similarly strongly when 2 U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers entered the Black Sea. Tensions between Russia and NATO members have risen considerably in recent months, with Russian President Vladimir Putin telling NBC 2 weeks ago that relations between Russia and the U.S. were at their lowest point in years. Details recently emerged of the Russian Navy conducting some of its largest drills in the Central Pacific since the end of the Cold War, according to The Drive. Evidently, both sides are acting aggressively towards one another right now. For Britain's part, the movements of the HMS Defender can be seen as a specific test of Russia's resolve over Crimea, according to one retired colonel with Britain's Royal Marines who spoke to Reuters. Russia is trying to create facts on the ground and get them respected internationally so that their annexation is in effect rubber-stamped by the world, he said, and what we're seeing is Britain's response. The Russian response, he added, is extraordinarily robust, a tad undiplomatic, and way over the top. However, the BBC reports that Britain likely knew exactly what it was getting involved in here. Previous incidents would have told them what to expect, and the provocation on Britain's part represents part of a new, deliberately forward-leaning defense policy, which it outlined in an integrated review 3 months ago. It committed, for instance, to exceeding its NATO spending commitments. More specifically, regarding Wednesday's Black Sea incident, one source told BBC diplomatic correspondent James Landale that the HMS Defender was not there to pick a fight, but to make a point, to assert its right to freedom of navigation in international waters. Clearly, the difference between picking a fight and making a point is a matter of semantics if, in the course of making your point, you are very much aware that you will start a fight. Either way, we should stand by for a lot more points being made in the next few months, and for its part, Russia's large-scale exercises off Hawaii are instructive as to its thinking. Russia has conducted its largest military exercises since the Cold War off the coast of Hawaii. Reports differ over the exact location of Russian activity, but a Russian Ministry of Defense account cited by The Drive said the exercises involved up to 20 surface warships, submarines, and support vessels, plus around the same number of aircraft. The exercises involved detecting, countering, and delivering missile strikes against the aircraft carrier strike group of a mock enemy. Simulated cruise missile strikes were carried out by the Slava-class cruiser, as well as an Udaloy-class destroyer and 3 Staraguchi-class corvettes. Also involved in the exercises were a pair of Tu-142M long-range anti-submarine aircraft from the Pacific Fleet's Naval Aviation Branch, escorted by MiG-31BM Foxhound interceptors. 6 IL-38 anti-submarine aircraft were given the task of searching for and tracking submarines from the mock enemy group. The Drive, citing CBS News, reports that on June 14th, 3 U.S. F-22A Raptor stealth fighters were scrambled in response to aircraft associated with the Russian naval exercise. Separately, the Honolulu Star-Advertiser reported that on June 18th, a pair of F-22s was launched to investigate Russian air activity in the area. According to The Drive, one unverified satellite image from June 19th shows Russian Navy vessels 35 nautical miles south of Honolulu, Hawaii, being escorted by 3 U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and a U.S. Coast Guard Sentinel-class cutter. However, the Honolulu Star-Advertiser quoted an anonymous U.S. official locating Russian vessels several hundred miles west of the Aloha State.
The hack on a 5,500-mile pipeline on the U.S. East Coast is being looked at as one of the most significant attacks on key national infrastructure in history, according to the BBC. The Colonial Pipeline, which according to CNET serves fuel to 7 airports and 14 states, was forced to shut down on Saturday after hackers broke into its computer systems in order to hold the company to ransom. Colonial is working with shippers to deliver fuel, according to CNET. However, the Associated Press says more than 1,000 gas stations in the southeast have reported running dry due to panic buying, with states of emergency declared in both Florida and Virginia. It is possible hackers could have gained access to Colonial's computer network simply using an email to an employee, according to cyber expert John Nichols from Checkpoint, who was cited by the BBC. The FBI has identified the hacker group DarkSide as the group behind the attack, and describing DarkSide's sophisticated operation, Cybereason reports that they use a help desk to negotiate with the targets of their attacks and have their own affiliate program. CNET reports that these types of cyber attacks have become common. City governments around the U.S., including Baltimore's and Atlanta's, have been hit by ransomware attacks in the past, and hospitals have been forced to shut down.
CNN reports that the Royal Navy announced on January 4th that its carrier strike group, centered on its brand new carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, had achieved initial operating capability. This means that the 65,000-ton carrier, with its air assets and support units, is ready to deploy within 5 days of receiving orders to do so. Officials have said the carrier's first deployment would include Asia, on a route that would likely take it past China and Taiwan. The carrier is designed to carry up to 72 aircraft like the F-35 stealth fighter jet and various types of helicopters. In a force protection role, the helicopter force may consist of 9 Merlin HM-2 anti-submarine helicopters and 5 Merlin HM-2 Crow's Nest early warning helicopters. For shallow water operations, the helicopter force may consist of a mixture of transport and attack helicopters like the Chinook and Apache AH-1. For support, the carrier will have a submarine and 2 surface escorts, a frigate or anti-submarine warfare, and a destroyer for anti-air warfare. It will be supplied by a Tide-class fleet tanker and a dry stores supply ship. 2 attempted murder suspects identified by British authorities as Russian agents smuggled poisonous substance Novichok inside a perfume bottle placed in a box. On Friday, March 2nd, they traveled from Moscow to London with the substance on their person. Authorities found traces of Novichok inside the hotel room where the men are believed to have stayed that weekend. Surveillance footage places them within the area of Sergei Skripal's home on Sunday, March 4th, around the time of the attempt on the ex-Russian spy's life. It's believed that the man sprayed the substance on Skripal's door handle, a move that resulted in critical injury to him and 2 other people. The suspects are then believed to have left the country that same night, returning to Moscow by plane.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the Tomo News family. Thanks for watching.